migrants are being detained in a shipping container. But Drew, it does seem that we may be headed for a battle here about what happens to these migrants now following the Supreme Court's ruling. After the justices issued this decision, very quickly, the immigration groups who now represent these migrants went back to the judge in Boston, Judge Murphy, and asked him to issue a new order that would prevent the migrants from getting right back on a flight and headed to South Sudan. But what was really interesting is the judge gave an update last night. He told the plaintiffs that motion was unnecessary. He actually quoted Sotomayor's dissent and said, yes, they may have lifted my earlier injunction, but he said what was not properly before the Supreme Court was this remedy that he had ordered, that these migrants could not be deported to South Sudan. They had to go to Djibouti or somewhere else. And so he said that that was not properly before the Supreme Court and still remains in effect. We haven't yet heard from the government on this, but you got to imagine, Drew, that the Trump administration is not going to be happy about this judge's thinking.
Yeah, this was a major win for the Trump administration as it looks to quickly enforce its immigration crackdown. The president's executive orders continue to get tested at the Supreme Court. Are we getting a better idea of how the justices will rule on the power the administration can wield?
We are. This is the latest in a series of wins for the Trump administration on the Supreme Court's emergency docket. The Trump administration has been bringing what's really an avalanche of emergency applications, to say the least. They brought 19 since Inauguration Day, quite a high number. But we've seen in the cases that have been decided so far that the Trump administration has been winning more often than not. And you see that in the immigration context specifically. It was just a few weeks ago that the court allowed the Trump administration to revoke temporary legal status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans. So the Trump administration has been getting a series of wins. But the other thing that I think is important to point out is we know that these decisions are coming down as the justices are simultaneously behind the scenes working on their decision in the birthright citizenship case, where the administration is asking them to rein in these lower district judges who have been issuing nationwide injunctions that block the president's policies anywhere in the country. And because the majority didn't explain their reasoning in this decision, this lower judge's ruling, it was a nationwide injunction. We don't know if the Supreme Court is lifting it because they're about to rein in these nationwide injunctions. We don't know if it's because they actually agree that these deportations are illegal. We just don't know because the majority didn't explain their reasoning. But you've got to take, into account here the fact that we know that we're getting ready for that big decision on birthright citizenship here in a few days.
A lot to follow, as always, with the Trump administration and the courts. Follow Zach's reporting by going over to thehill.com and subscribing to the Gavel newsletter. Zach Schoenfeld, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Drew.